everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So it's been so long since I've posted, and I feel horrible about that, and I feel kind of lost a little bit because I haven't been able to post videos as much as I wanted to. I've been entirely ridiculously too busy. Being a single mom, going to school and working is not the easiest, so I've just kind of been trying to like wade through the waters and figure out my stuff for a few months. But we're getting to a point where it's getting good and it's getting back on track. So I felt like I needed to get back to my passion and to everything I enjoy so much doing here on YouTube. So today's video is gonna be kind of like welcoming myself back to YouTube, what's been going on, as well as a little tutorial on the brows. I've been talking about doing a brow tutorial for a while. I feel like brows are so focused on right now. The trends that were going on, the ridiculous trends that were going on around the end of 2017, where everybody was experimenting with different things with brows, is just another sign that brows are big. Brows are very important. So everybody talks about bushy brows, or you know, the thin brow trend at one point, or people doing whatever like the wavy brow, or whatever crazy stuff you want to talk about. But how do we get our brows looking great, looking naturally beautiful, looking like they're like normal brows? How do we get our brows to not precede us into a room, not overtake our faces? I think that's a big thing. I have brows, thank the Lord, because I did go through the very thin brow period. I don't know what I was thinking. God has shown me the light and I'm actually, you know, making my brows just do their thing. One of the big things that I always say when somebody asks me about my brows, I barely touch my brows. I don't tweeze. I don't wax, other than very, very minimally. I trim, and that's about it. I don't touch them very much because, as I've learned during my recent education, when you pluck, tweeze, whatever you want to call it, wax, you are changing your brows because you are ripping out hair. That's what you're doing. So when you tweeze for a long time, you rip out the hair and you rip out the root and the bulb of each hair. So that hair usually won't grow back, or it will grow back a lot sparser, and that's where a lot of people see thinning of the brows. They see some bald patches, whatever that case may be. It can be from over tweezing, over waxing. So when you are going from a thinner brow and you want to grow your brows back, and you want to, you know, just embrace a more natural look, just know that it takes time. It's not an overnight thing. I think that's a hard thing for a lot of people to deal with. This is what people see when they look right at you. They see your face first, and it's so hard to like take that time to get healthy habits with your face, with your eyebrows, with your hair, and it takes time, and I'm not a patient person. So in the meantime, while I wait for my brows to be perfect, what I can do is fill them in. There are a couple different ways to go ahead and fill your brows in. It also depends on what you want to have your brows look like at any given time. Sometimes I use a pencil. This one is by MAC. It is the Spiked Eyebrow pencil. This is just like in a dark brown. Another thing that I always say to make your brows look as natural as possible is be careful of the color of powder, pomade, or pencil you're using. So I, for example, have really dark hair and really dark brows, but I never buy black eyebrow pencils. I buy the darkest brown eyebrow pencils I can find, but I never commit to black. So just be careful of that. Like I said, my hair is not black, my eyebrows are not black, even though they look extremely dark. So I don't want my eyebrows to take away from the rest of my face. I don't want them to look too dark that it just looks odd, because sometimes that happens if you use too dark of a product. So this one is a dark brown, like I said, is from MAC. Another one that's really great is from NYX. It is a micro brow pencil. It comes with a spoolie, which is a very important thing to have, and I will talk about the tools that you need for amazing brow fill-in action. But this one is a micro pencil. So I personally like that. If I'm going for a super natural, very minimal brow look, I will use the micro pencil because I can make it look exactly like an eyebrow hair. So the point of filling in your eyebrows is to be using those strokes that look like eyebrow hairs. You want it to look as natural as possible. You want it to look like your hair just magically grew overnight. It's all about the illusion. So when I want to have that amazing illusion, I will use a really small pencil. I at one point had a big fat pencil from e.l.f. or something, and I was like, that was when I first started filling in my brows. Those were dark days. I don't want to think about it. But it was gigantic. It looked like an actual crayon, and I don't know how I managed to have functioning brows because it was literally the width of my eyebrow. There are many different type of pencils. There's many different brands with great pencils out there. You'll hear everybody talking about a different brand that they like. Those are just two that I use. Another thing that I use pretty much on the daily basis, it is my go-to brow filling solution, is eyebrow powder. Is so nice. Brow powder is a great way to fill in your brows. I love it. It's so easy to use. I think it's super fast. If I'm rushing out the door, sometimes I just slap on some powder. It takes me like 2 minutes to fill in my brows usually with the powder. The one that I've been using and loving actually came in a Boxycharm. It's from the Brow Gal, which is a great brand. I'm a big fan of them. And it comes in like a 3-shade set. This one is medium, I believe, which works for me. So it's number 2, the convertible brow, and it's a wet or dry brow powder / pomade. So the difference between powder and pomade, powder is obviously dry. Pomade is made by adding setting spray or water to a powder product, eyebrow product. I would personally mix it on another surface so you don't get any other germs or outside stuff into your powder for further use, but just add a little bit of that if you want a more wet application. And then speaking of wet application, the last and final product that I usually use for my brow is a brow pomade. It comes in a little pot like this, and it's the black and brown shade, and it is from Colourpop. I really like it. Now, this one I use when I go full glam. The reason why, it's very intense. The coverage is intense, the color is intense, and it's a little much for every day. So I use it less than my others, but it's still a great product. Tools that you're gonna need when you decide to go ahead and fill in those brows. You're gonna need a brow brush. It's an angled brush. Also, it helps if you have a double-sided one. This one's double-sided. I have a spoolie. Spoolies are, I think, fantastic for just combing through your brows. You can use other kind of brow brushes. I also have this one, just a standard brush with a comb on the side. I hate it. I don't use it. I use my spoolie. Another tool is always concealer. I always have concealer and a little angled brush. And I actually have a concealer palette with multiple shades in it. I use this when I do other people's makeup. I just love having a variety of shades. But I like to conceal under my brow to give that a little sharper of an appearance. It just makes your eyebrows pop. So concealer, a spoolie, and whatever product that you want to use is what I feel like you need. So I think the first method I'm going to use is a little more of my natural everyday brow routine, and that's just going to be with the pencil. So the one I'm going to use is the NYX Micro. So the NYX one, like I said, is really small and nice and works great to get into the eyebrow, like right in the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that one first. So I'm probably gonna do pencil on this side and pomade on this side. I don't think I'm gonna show you how to do a powder. It's pretty much the same method as the pomade, but it gives a bolder look. So I want you to see what my look is gonna be, natural versus glam. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with this NYX Micro Pencil right in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil. I'm following the natural shape of my brow. I'm just drawing at the bottom of the brow and just gently strokes, small strokes, and following the shape. I like to be really up and close and personal with my mirror while I'm doing this so I can really see the tiny hairs that are down at the bottom of the brow. And so I can keep track of them. I should mention that before I start my brows ever, I always run through them with the spoolie. Like I said, the micro pencil has a spoolie on it, but it's so nice to just run through them with the spoolie and get everything, like, you know, figured out. Figured out. Get those brow hairs on point. After I'm done with them, I always gently run through them again with the spoolie to distribute all the product. And then once I've done that, I can see if there's areas that I still need to fill in. Like in the front here, I don't go as heavy as in the back. I like to leave it a little lighter. Not a whole lot. As you can see, it looks super natural. So this one is the one done with the micro pencil. See the difference? Oh, sad, happy, sad, happy. My brows are one of my absolute have to do makeup tricks. Like, I have to do my brows, otherwise I just can't. So I am now going to do the other side with the pomade. I'm using my little brush here with the spoolie. I'm going to spoolie through my eyebrows first, kind of make them less unruly. So I'm just taking a light amount and I'm going to go in. I always start the exact same way. I always start at the front and I make a little line. Have a light hand. Don't go crazy. Just have a very light hand. And then I usually, when I'm using pomade, I do it a little differently for the rest of the filling in. So when I do pomade and I'm going for a more bold brow, I also start at the top. So I make a little line down here, and then I make a little line up here. Because I feel like when I do use pomade, I go for a much more structured brow. So just continue following the arches of your brow with little strokes. So that's the second brow. Do remember, your brows are probably never going to look exactly the same, and they don't need to. Eyebrows are supposed to be sisters, not twins. But you can see the dramatic difference from the brow that I did with a pencil to the brow I did with a pomade, how I can see it. This one is much more soft, natural little, you know, looking. This one's bold, in your face, kick your ass type of brow, which is totally cool. I love both. Now remember, anytime you do your brow, you might make a mistake. So the really nice thing that you can do when you're done with your brows is just sharpen everything up with some concealer. I like to use a thicker, I'm gonna say drier concealer when I do this, which is why I use my concealer palette. So I like to use a more structured concealer for this step. The reason being, it doesn't get everywhere. It's much easier to put on and spread. What you're gonna do is take this little brush, and then you're just gonna follow the outline of your eyebrow. So I'm gonna go under the pencil brow first. I'm just gonna clean it up, that's all. If ever you feel like you go too heavy with the concealer or you get the concealer back in your eyebrow hairs, never fear. Just go back in with your eyebrow pencil or brush and freshen it up. Now, you can see that line of concealer. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little brush, just a little blending brush, and I'm going to blend it out. I tend to use a lighter shade of concealer than I would under, say, my under eye, because I like to highlight my brow bone, and this is just the way I do it. So instead of putting a lighter color shadow up here on my brow bone to highlight it, I just use a lighter shade of concealer, and it does the same thing. So if you can see we're all like cleaned up. Look how sharp these are. Oh, cut you. They really could. They could cut you. So that's pretty much my eyebrow routine that I go through. Like I said, I opt more to use the pencil or a powder method more often than I do a pomade. So it's kind of a personal preference of what you want to do. I just wanted to show you guys my trick of how I get my brows looking the way they do. So life really has been happening lately. It has been a crazy kind of roller coaster ride. I'm really happy with where things are going. With school, I really just feel like I found exactly where I needed to be, and I remember telling you guys in my get to know me video how it's been a little hard to find my place in the world, and I finally feel like I found it. So as far as like puzzle pieces coming together in my life, they are finally, after all these years, and it's kind of like a relief. It's kind of like a release too. It's just like this, all the anxiety and the pent up feelings of like, I'm never gonna be anything, I'm never gonna succeed and all that stuff. It's just kind of been like releasing in a really beautiful, like fulfilling way. It's still incredibly stressful, but it's not like a dying under the stress. It's like, okay, this is stressful, but hey, I have a few months of beauty school left. I'm almost done. Like, I'm so close. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. So it's something that I can handle, which I like. I don't like that feeling of being out of control and not being able to handle my own business and take care of everything that I need to take care of, because I have a lot of on my plate. So I'm really happy with how that's been going. So I'm just flying by the seat of my pants right now. I'm going by faith and faith alone, because that's honestly all I can do. So it's just been a really incredible learning experience so far. There's so much more to learn. That's really where I'm at. I'm gonna be completely honest and say that I'm ready emotionally, I think, to have a partner again. Someone that like is going to take care of my heart the way I take care of theirs, and who's going to be a partner, and who's going to be a father figure to my kids, because without that, you have no chance. So I think that I'm ready to find someone again. I think it's going to be difficult, and I think it's going to be sad at times and hard at times and confusing at times, because I feel like the dating world these days is. But I'm getting myself ready in every aspect of my life to be the Mrs. Right for my Mr. Right, because he's somewhere out there. So I'm excited, and I'm terrified, and I'm ready. I am going to try my very best to come back and start doing weekly videos. Send me suggestions, comment on my videos, and ask me whatever you want to ask me, and let me know what you want to see. Alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed this eyebrow tutorial / catch-up session with me after all these months of not being on YouTube, and I hope that you'll stay tuned for any more videos that I have coming in the future. Check out any of my social media pages. I use my Instagram for my before and after pictures for any kind of hair processes I do at school, and I do post about beauty on there as well. My Snapchat is more of a silly place, but you never know what you can find, and I will always list whatever I'm doing with my YouTube channel on there first. So if you want to keep track of that, that's probably the easiest place to do it. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Just let me know that you liked it. If you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button and you will see all my videos in the future. If you want to know the nanosecond slash moment slash whatever you want to call it, I post a video, hit the bell icon and you'll receive pop-up notifications every time a new video comes out. As always, thank you so much for watching the makeup kit. That's me, the one and the only, and I will see you in my next video.